I hate being cooped up. Why the bag? I bought a movie online, downloaded it to my computer, copied it to my laptop, and then to my personal video player. My computer, my laptop, my video player. I never even left my house. All legal, right? Not if the big studios had their way. They say I'm hurting their business. I say, since when did my business become their business? But guess what happens if they win the argument? That's right, the bag.
Sucks not having a voice. I'm a filmmaker. Well, okay, I'm a student now, but I have an interesting way of telling stories. So Hollywood, look out. The only problem is, for my last project, I used a 5-second excerpt from the nightly news. The next thing I knew, I was getting hit with a lawsuit. That's right, cease and desist. Imagine that, me, a threat to the big media companies? It used to be lights, camera, action. Now, it's quiet on the set.
Music is my life. I come from a family of artists, and I've been playing and touring since I was 6 years old. From the start, it's been about reaching people, being heard. Even as I'm creating a song, I feel a strong connection to the listener. New technologies and ways of communicating have revolutionized the music experience for the artist and the listener. I believe artists should be able to create the music they want to, and people should be able to choose how they enjoy it. After spending my whole life making music, it's so inspiring to live in a world where that kind of freedom is possible.
When you learn to be silent and still.
Music is about connection. From that first creative spark, a song has to grow and travel to reach the listener. For an up-and-coming band like ours, that journey used to be full of challenges. But that's not the way it is anymore. The ability to connect with fans directly through digital technology has changed everything. Now, when we reach one person, there's an instant potential to reach hundreds more. And the threads of communication just spread from there. The distance between us and our fans, and among fans themselves, is now non-existent. No boundaries, no roadblocks. Just us, our fans, and our music, with nothing to hold us back.
Good afternoon, everybody. The term digital freedom, I think, best captures the spirit of the revolution that is currently sweeping through the technology world. This is really the third or fourth wave of innovation that we've seen in the computing revolution. It started back in the 80s with the personal computer, then everything went graphical, then we had the internet, which suddenly opened doors and expanded horizons. And now we have this participation-oriented era where the internet is bringing people together and allowing them to collaborate to create wonderful and amazing things. And a key part of the framework for that collaboration is the principle of sharing and of standing on the shoulders of giants, of being able to reuse, leverage, remix the work of others. And we see that principle coming through in the free software movement in the form of the GPL and other free software licenses, which essentially allow you to take other people's software and remix that, stand on their shoulders, and reach for the stars. And we're starting to see the same thing happen now with content, with free content, open content, which allows you to take the work of others, the creative works of others, and remix that, stand on their shoulders, and create new and innovative works. So I'm very excited now at the idea of a digital freedom exposition which brings together all of these ideas and looks for new opportunities, new initiatives, new breakthrough ideas around this fundamental idea of digital freedom. I'm not surprised that this is happening at UWC, because UWC is one of the institutions globally that has pioneered work in this field, particularly with the involvement of Derek Keats, who I've known for a number of years since we worked together on the Cape IT initiative. I was struck back then that Derek and I had something in common. We were both outsiders to the technology field. He'd studied biology and I'd studied finance, and yet we were both struck by and impassioned at the role that technology had to play in transforming the Western Cape, and also both fascinated by this amazing thing called free software, which back in the mid-1990s was relatively unheard of. That passion led me to start thought and pursue other interests in cryptography and free software, and it's led Derek to pursue his interests in education, in open content and content management, and now digital freedom. So I'm very proud to be introducing Derek. He is a man of vision. His work on Africa, I think, is particularly important, because it is this free digital freedom, platform of digital freedom, which really is the basis upon which I think we can bring together the creative and industrial thinking on the continent to shape something bold and something new. So without further ado, let me introduce to you Mr. Derek Keats. I'm Mark Shuttleworth, and this work is licensed under the Creative Commons Attribution Share-alike license. What that means is that you have fundamentally all the same rights to this work as I do. We can take it, remix it, re-edit it, reshape it, change it. From the very first day you see this content, you can make this content part of your own body of knowledge. So enjoy it in freedom.
My name is John Mad Dog Hall, and I'm the Executive Director of Linux International. I'm here today at the printing office of the Milford Cabinet, a local newspaper that was started in 1802 in Milford, New Hampshire, in the United States. Newspapers and books have not always been around. Many hundreds of years ago, the way of exchanging information was for a scribe to copy a book onto parchment using a quill pen. The cost of exchange of information was so high that not many people knew how to read and write. A common person coming to a town would look for a store with a sign in the shape of a boot for a cobbler, or a sign in the shape of a horse for a livery stable. And then a few hundred years ago, somebody had the bright idea of carving individual letters onto individual blocks of wood and putting them together, inking them, and printing with a piece of paper. And the concept of the movable type printing press came into being. And instantly, the cost of communications dropped so that people could buy books and transfer information around the world at a fraction of the cost that it used to be. This brought about the age of enlightenment for people. The people would then read and write and exchange ideas freely. It brought about the concepts of the freedom of the press and the freedom to exchange information. Today we're going through another revolution in information exchange called the Internet. And things like this video can be transferred from the United States to South Africa or any number of places around the world in a fraction of a second, and for a fraction of the cost of printing or transferring of a medium. Yet we have to protect another part of this cost. We have to keep the freedom of information exchange open so that people can get the information they need to be able to do things like fight disease, purify water, or have a good form of government. All these things we have to protect and make sure that this is open so that the vast majority of society can benefit from this instead of only a very few. It is my honor to be here at this conference today, if only by video,